In the previous part, we saw that Yamaji was working on his plan, and now Joseph was launching a new source of power and was showing it to his seller. He had an issue in buying it because it was dangerous for the environment, but Joseph had Yamaji and showed him the contracts with others and had no other option. Emma and Joe were also knowledgeable of this situation because she told him that when she was a part of them, she didn't find any respect and grace in being with them. So, she decided to accompany him, and on the other side, Jason was angry with Mike for letting him get involved in this mess, and now they were freaked out. But Mike told him that he also didn't have any other option, so he had to help him, and in return, Mike would protect him. Emma and Joe were about to leave Oza City, and she turned their system off for a minute and got out of the city with the help of Joe and his new suit. They went out like a hair from the butter, and now she told him about the power plant, their next destination. Because they needed some energy for his gear, and he wanted to know the location of Yamaji, and going there would be helpful too. At night, Joe was sitting alone and he was thinking about his wife Mari and how she was killed in front of his eyes, and Emma was thinking about her promise. She decided to protect Joe and let him live at any cost because she had only hope named Joe. On the other side, some soldiers were in ruin, and they faced Dilly in her deered form. She attacked them and started killing. It was a test battle held by Joseph, and to whom he was showing it was shocking to see such power in humans' hands. Dee was also getting charged and his powers were shocking. Emma also reached her destination, and suddenly Dee appeared and said he was waiting for her. He was after her and she was trying to run. She was about to get attacked, but our hero came in his suit and started protecting her. Dee was happy to see him and asked for a graceful battle. They decided to fight and started attacking. Emma acknowledged that she had to make a power source for Joe, so she started running towards the plant. Dee was trying to block her way with his powers, but she was a pro at fighting, and she had no serious tension about it. She had her powers and vicious mind to fight with it. Our hero was also fighting like a real ninja and was giving him a very tough time. Emma was about to reach the plant when she threw a capsule and shot it, but unfortunately, the floor cracked, and she fell. She was facing death, but suddenly our man saved her, and she was shocked. His suit was turned off, and Dee told them that it was a fair fight, so he'd leave them this time, but for the next time he'd kill them in any possibility. Now Joe was helping her in band-aiding and asked why she was helping him in the mouth of death, and she told him about her promise with Mari and said she promised with herself to protect him at any cost. Suddenly she got an alarm showing that her computer was operated, and she got attention. Jason was trying to crack it but told Mike that it was a very difficult tech, so he couldn't crack it. But Mike cheered him up and asked to try again. Suddenly a song started in the car, and Mike started thinking about the days he had spent with Emma. They were in the bar, and he was trying to tell her how important she was. They didn't reach a solution, and everyone was staring at them. He behaved like an elder and started playing a song. They had spent very good days with each other. On duty, they were like a pro team, and in their free time they always fought over stupid kinds of stuff. But Emma also liked him because he was a crack dick. Now Emma was sleeping too. Mike and Jason were in serious condition, and Jason played dumb, and when Mike came out of the car, he found that it was Joe and Emma. They sat and talked. She told him about her real intentions, and Mike was a little angry with her, but he went out to relax. But got in trouble. Emma helped him and apologized for hiding her real identity. Mike showed her the drawing of his daughter, and they settled their matters with each other. Joe and Jason were also busy with their stuff. Emma told them that they had to do something instead of sitting because Yamaji and his team were getting stronger and stronger. Joseph was also facing trouble from his contractors, but he was relaxed. Emma told them that she had to get the power they needed to continue, and then she turned the power source of Oza off to weaken them, and Mike was worried about something. Emma asked to speak off, and he asked if she was with Joe in any kind of relation, and she kicked him in answer because it was enough. On the other side, Joseph was with Yamaji, and he was trying to tell him that he was the one who was controlling this world right now, and if his stupid ninja men would create a mess for him, then he'd do something serious about them. But Yamaji was relaxed like the wind, and Emma was telling Joe about his suit and its weak point called Azuna, which was more like a heart, and she told him to protect it like a wife. After listening to her, Joe told her to take Mike and go to a protected place because he didn't want her to get into more trouble. But she said she wasn't a kid, and she knew what to do. Mike was sleeping, and he also woke up and showed consideration into Emma's point of view. Suddenly Jason entered the room with rice, and they were surprised to see it. He made the day for them, and they started eating. Mike was enjoying, and Emma remembered that Mike had once told her, "A companion is more like a family," and Mari also told her the same. Joseph was trying to explain about the explosion at the power station to his partner, and he was having a difficult time explaining his excuses. The call ended and Dilly asked why he lost his temper. He said it was his flaw. Now Joseph asked to call Dee, and Dilly said he was busy at a barbershop for a haircut. But he was forced to call, and Dee didn't pick it up because he was busy getting a new look. Joseph got sever angry and asked Dilly to make it for him. He was going and met with Zai and said if he was the boss then he'd told him to kill Joe. Zai checked the maintenance room and came to know that Joseph had made some improvements to Dee's suit, and Zai's suit was also working. On the other side, Mike talks with Joe and asks him to save Emma even if he dies. Emma and Jason are working to crack the satellites of Oza City and Jason is going crazy to nail it. D had got his hair cut and he was also very happy. He got a phone call about his suit, and he went to fight. Jason was very excited to get his revenge on the Oza Association and suddenly D came and started attacking. Mike asked for weapons to fight, and Emma told him. Joe also came out and the fight started. Both of the opponents were rockingly amazing, and Emma was also attacked but she was defending herself and asked Jason if he could manage to crack it himself. Jason said yes and she also went out to fight. Joe was fighting with D and Emma killed some soldiers and went to Mike. They teamed up again and Jason was also going pretty well. But suddenly Mike got attacked and Emma started calling his name and he was thinking about Joe's reply. He told him that he was only focused on destroying Oza and Yamaji and he couldn't promise to save Emma. Suddenly he stood up and he was alright because he was wearing protection. They stood up and again started attacking. This team was amazing. Joe and D were also giving each other a very tough time and Joe finally killed him. He was dying and Emma came to him, and he asked why she cheated on them. But she told him that she never cheated on the mission she was on, and he got the graceful answer out of a graceful question. D was about to taste death but suddenly there was a sudden change in the plan and Emma saved Mike and the basalt flew her away. Joseph was still angry because he wanted to kill all of them. Joe stood up and saw Mike. He was sitting near to Emma and was crying. She apologized for everything, and her mask was also vanishing. They tried to stop her, but she showed them her real face and said she always wanted to die alone but she started singing a song. Once Mike gave him a keychain and he started singing a song. She was singing the same song, although she died peacefully, and everyone was sad. Jason was also crying, and Mike was very sad because he had lost his second daughter. Joe said he had not seen a ninja dying with such a peaceful face and burned her. Now he decided to destroy them, and Zai was also ready with his new suit. Fear is the greatest enemy of a human being. A boy was trying to look out of a door and a man tried to abuse him, but he bit his finger. But suddenly the door opened and everyone was killed. Other kids ran away and Zai stabbed the man. Yamaji saw him and when Zai attacked him, he told him to ask for mercy but Zai attacked him and Yamaji picked him for training. Now he was thinking about his past while looking at his suit. Joe was drinking his energy drink and Mike came and made fun of him. He offered his drink and Mike took a sip. Mike asked Joe to make a proper grave for Emma at a proper graveyard. But he said ninja doesn't have any home in life and the afterlife. They were looking at her grave with sorrow and Mike said it was all thanks to her that they had reached this success. Suddenly Jason told him that there was bad news and he told them that the system was secured. The data they had hacked couldn't be opened or cracked because Emma had applied a very strong security to it. Jason even tried to dig it up but failed. Suddenly they found in the news that they were announced terrorists who attacked Oza City. On the other side, Joseph was talking with his partner and informed him that the incident was not his mistake, it was an attack by Joe and his companions. Joseph even tried to convince him that in future nothing would happen like this and his partner was angry at him and said if anything happened like this then he'd be out of this agreement. They ended the call and Dilly informed him about the hacked data. Joseph got angry because nothing was going as he had planned. Yamaji was also informed about Zai's suit and that now Zai was able to fight with Joe. Jason was angry with the press media because now they would never be able to publish the hacked data on social media because they announced terrorists. They were thinking about a plan and Jason was behaving weirdly. Mike got an idea. He was leaving and a crow entered the truck. It was an asking for a duel by Zai. Before, when it was their training time, Yamaji told Zai that ninja was the name of the strongest man to rule the world and it was the only achievement he wanted in life. Whenever he fights with someone, he beats him up because he wants to be the strongest one. Joe stops him, and Mari comes in between them and stops. She told them to fight together to prove their opinions and they ended with a draw. Zai was angry because he had not won against Joe, but Mari was very nice to him. She talked with him about his skills and they three passed the ninja exam. Now they were assigned a job and the three succeeded, but when it was time to return Zai went to fight the soldiers and anyhow, he surrendered because he didn't want to lose. But suddenly Joe came and asked to cover his back and Mari and the three started fighting together. It was a test by Yamaji to get the strongest one, but Joe and Mari told Zai that they were enough together, they didn't have to separate from each other, and Zai understood that. Zai told them that his parents left him when he was born, and the crows rescued him, and no one had taken him back since now. But the three made a very good team together and they were happy. But one day they told Zai about their relationship, and he got angry. He tried to stop them and said they had to kill him otherwise he'd kill them, and they left him. His belief was broken and now Joe had reached the place for the duel and Zai was already there. Mike went to his senior and tried to talk. He asked him for his help with publishing the data they had hacked from Oza City and tried to remember their past days. But he was bribed by the Oza City, so he called them that he had found Mike, but he ran away. The fight was getting worse between Zai and Joe. They had to prove themselves, but only one of them would succeed. They were not showing their real powers, but suddenly they broke their suits. Would Joe be able to win against him and finish Yamaji? Subscribe to our channel for the latest updates.